Welcome, we're so glad to have you again. Let's take a look at this Eviscerate Ignite Elementalist. Eviscerate is an attack with one of the highest damage effectiveness in the game, but the catch is it has a very low attack rate. It's a retaliation skill, you can only use it once after you block. It doesn't matter if you play it on an Ignite build. You can easily reapply the next Ignite before the first one expires. We will pair up this powerful attack with an equally powerful weapon. Ephemeral Edge is a sword whose damage can be scaled up with a resource that's easy to gain a lot of. Maximum Energy Shield. It grows in flat lightning damage the more ES you have, and to ignite with that we need to either convert it all to fire or have Ignite Conflux. All damage can ignite. From the Elementalist Ascendancy does the latter, so we'll choose that. Elementalist is a great choice for a lot of elemental damage builds. Besides the Shaper of Flames, we will allocate Shaper of Storms, a freshly reworked Liege of the Primordial, and Mastermind of Discord. Your 4 golems will grant damage, accuracy, energy shield, ES regeneration, AoE, and even crit chance to proc elemental overload consistently. Shock causes enemies to take increased damage. Lowering enemies' fire resistance via exposure, hexes, and combustion will play a big role. Use Smite to kill small enemies. One swing clears groups, especially tightly packed ones, thanks to the Ignite Proliferation. Remember to use it when starting a fight against bosses to get extra damage. Eviscerate won't even be needed to kill rares after the build is done. It's just that much of an overkill. Since the damage is directly tied to maximum ES, focus on that alone with Chaos Inoculation. The defensives are boosted with block chance against spells and attacks alike, and redirecting a big portion of damage to be taken as Chaos, which you're immune to. For recovery, you have Aegis Aurora and Zealot's Oath. Clear Speed is one of the best, and the only way to upgrade it is to have a higher movement speed. It's excellent against bosses as its damage vastly exceeds the DOT cap for Ignite, and you administer it with a single attack. All items, unique and rare, are very cheap, so you don't need to worry about the price at all. Ephemeral Edge is the pivotal item. The rest of your gear revolves around getting tons of ES to extract more lightning damage from it. You should be able to reach around 10k of maximum energy shield. Jewelry, body armor, and both weapon slots will host unique items. They're either essential or far better than any rare counterpart. Try to get a lot of armor. It would be great with your Aegis Aurora and Divine Shield. Ephemeral Edge adds lightning damage per maximum energy shield. You can ignite with it after allocating Shaper of Flames. Aegis Aurora provides you with one of the best ES recovery tools in the game, given you have high block chance and at least some armor, which you do. With Chaos Inoculation, Incandescent Heart negates a quarter of all incoming elemental damage. That's why we are wearing it. It also adds quite a lot of chaos damage to attacks which can ignite. Remember, these are common, so it's a good idea to corrupt them now and then. Faster Ignite is one of the most effective ways to upgrade your DPS. It's a selling point of the Dyadian Dawnbelt. Whispers of Infinity has tons of flat energy shield, and it shifts all your mana cost to ES, so that you can reserve all of it. Enemies covered in ash receive increased fire damage and move slower. Polaric Devastation Ring also has lots of resistances and a bit of damage. Put it on your left ring slot. Your Ignite needs to spread when mapping. Use Berek's Respite Ring to proliferate your Ignites and Shocks on kill. If you cannot afford the maximum energy shield version of the Light of Meaning, which is honestly too overpriced right now, go for Lethal Pride instead to obtain tons of strength, socket near endurance. Since you walk 4 golems, increasing their buff effect by 30% with but 1 primordial eminence, Jewel may be smart. Watcher's Eye. Your auras are Malevolence and Discipline. Discipline can roll spell block chance and Malevolence damage over time multiplier. You don't need a lot of accuracy for Eviscerate since it cannot miss, but the non-Val Smite can. You may struggle with attributes, so going for Supreme Ostentation or putting on Lethal Pride may help you there. For more damage, seek DOT, DOT, Multiplier, Fire damage, Ignite damage, Burning damage, Faster Ignite, and Maximum ES. You will exceed the DOT limit easily, but going over it is still endorsed. Reservation efficiency will not be needed. Helmet. Aim for high armor and ES with resistances and maybe some attributes or accuracy. For the Eldritch mods, you'll need a portion of physical damage taken as chaos and an increased flammability effect. A very basic pair of boots with some resistances, movement speed, and as much armor mixed with ES as you can afford will do. For the Eldritch mods, try to get Scorched Ground and cooldown recovery rate or accelerated ignite. Gloves are simple as well, all you need is to fix your attributes and resistances with them. For prefixes, go for armor with energy shield as per usual. For the Eldritch mods, you will need ignite, proliferation, and fire exposure on hit. If you feel like you can rely on the ignite spread from Beric's respite fully, swap the proliferation for a fire damage over time multiplier. On your jewels, combine maximum ES with ignite damage mods, such as those listed here. Block chance can be found too if needed. Attack damage with shield large cluster jewels may roll notables that grant you an additional block chance, which you will need if you want to cap it. Fire damage clusters are good for damage, you will be able to fit in one or two of these. Small cluster jewels enduring composure is a great source of endurance charges, hard to get otherwise. No unique flasks are particularly fitting, instead have one prismatic tincture with damage over time multiplier with basalt, granite, sulfur and quicksilver flasks. Their suffixes should increase your armor, movement speed, reduce the effect of curses on you and stop bleeding. You don't need a mercenary for any groundbreaking interaction, but you can get one to cast curses for you to cover enemies in ash and for auras. Aspect of the Spider can be good too. Eruptor may be your best choice. They often have determination, will deal actual damage with their fire skills, and cover enemies in ash with Ashen Fissure so that you won't need Polaric Devastation. Try a Warlord helmet that reduces nearby enemies' fire resistance. Kingmaker, crit multiplier, item rarity, culling strike, and fortification for you can be wielded by Eruptor. Dying Breath increases damage, effective curses, and mercs auras. Good, but most mercs won't be able to hold it. Kaum's Heart grants a lot of life for your mercenary, which should increase their durability. Garb of the Ephemeral prevents your action speed from falling below the base value and disables nearby enemies' critical strikes. That's very good. Phenumus' Shroud's useful only if your merc has a native aspect of the Spider skill. It improves it greatly. Rare boots are for resistances and Scorching Ground from the Eldritch Implicit mod. That thing can also be found on the Legacy of Fury boots. Gloves are mainly for resistances and maybe the Extinguish Elder mod. You can corrupt them for elemental weakness on hit. Kaum's Binding, nearby enemies convert 25% of their physical damage to fire, reduces the physical damage you take. Physical is the type of damage that's most likely to kill you, make them wear it. Zoph's Heart covers nearby enemies in ash so that they take increased damage and move slower. Useless if your merc uses Ashen Fissure or if you have Polaric Devastation. Rings are for resistances and maybe hexes on hit. Flammability or elemental weakness can be found here, but they're low-level curses. Anathema is useful only if you want to apply 2 or more curses via the merc. Since we always ignite with any damage type, we'll use Eviscerate, the attack with very high damage effectiveness. It's only usable after you block. Link it with Deadly Ailments, Volatility, Burning Damage, Elemental Damage with attacks, and Damage on full life. The last one can be swapped with Unbound Ailments, especially if you have the Awakened version. These are your golems. Chaos Golem for extra damage over time multiplier. Ice Golem has added accuracy and crit chance. Both needed to land the hit with Smite and proc Elemental Overload. Stone Golem grants life regeneration, ES regeneration with Zealot's Oath, and increased defenses that includes maximum ES. Flame Golem increases your area damage and area of effect. It will affect your Eviscerate. Use Discipline for additional maximum ES and increased ES recharge rate. Malevolence grants more damage over time and increased skill effect duration. Tempest Shield gives you additional spell block chance and shock immunity. Link these 3 with Enlighten to reserve less mana. Level 3 is enough. Flame Surge of Combusting ignites an enemy and creates Burning Ground based on the ignite damage they were suffering already. If you don't have it, you may use Alchemist's Mark, but it's only half as good. Flammability is a hex that lowers your opponent's fire resistance. Elemental Weakness lowers all your opponent's elemental resistances. You need the curse limit of 2 for it, allocate Whispers of Doom. Link them all with Arcanist Brand, which will cast it for you. Vile Smite adds some damage to your hits after performing an attack. Use it now and then to boost your Eviscerate damage or for clearing small enemies. Link it with Combustion support. Enemy ignited with Smite has its fire resistance reduced by 10%. Stay in the Sand Stance with Flesh and Stone. It reduces physical damage taken from nearby enemies. Shield Charge is a mobility skill that allows you to dash if using a shield. Link it with faster attack support. Flame Dash is another mobility skill that you can use instead of or alongside Shield Charge. If you feel like you don't need it, just go for the Molten Shell linked with CWGT. First, help Alira to make gearing up easy. If you have the items sorted out and resistances are no longer a problem, get an additional point from Eramir. Brine King is the most sound option for a Major God. It prevents chill, freeze, and getting stunned many times consecutively. For your Minor God, we recommend Soul of Tukohama to reduce physical damage taken. That's the dangerous type. Abereth and Ralakesh are great picks too because they reduce damage over time, which is also something you want to avoid on an energy shield build. The passive skill tree is a bit stretched thin because we need to pick up Chaos Inoculation, Whispers of Doom, Elemental Overload, and then go all the way to the other side of the tree for Retaliation Cluster with Flow of Battle, Cruel Retort, and the Mastery that causes ailments from Eviscerate to have 80% increased duration. While there, we may find Block Chance passives nearby. Allocate ones that are easily accessible and the Block Mastery for 1% chance to block spells per 5% chance to block attacks. More spell block chance is available on the top, where you will also find Energy Shield and Fire damage over time, and Ignite related passives. Remember to allocate Golem Commander for an extra Golem, Breath of Light with Lightning Mastery for plus 15% maximum shock effect, Sovereignty with increased Aura Effect Mastery, and Zealot's Oath Keystone. Near the Divine Shield you will find armor nodes, pick them up. You will need armor on top of your Energy Shield. Maximum Endurance charges are easy to access, get them. That is all for this guide. It's one of the best builds for its price that we have tested so far. We cannot recommend it enough. Thank you for staying till the end. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more. Bye.